So the balanced scorecard, as we are looking at, the key performance indicators are the metrics that may be part of the balanced scorecard. It's part and parcel of the balanced scorecard, right? And KPIs are quantifiable measurements agreed to beforehand. When you are setting the KPIs, you agree with the executives, right? Am I right, Saiju?
Yes.
While both party will agree and then establish a performance contract. So the KPIs are quantifiable measurements agreed beforehand, and that reflects the critical success factors of the organization. Chronologically, KPIs are broken down into two different types. The KPIs are having a leading, we talked about before, leading indicators and lagging indicators. What do you mean by leading indicators, lagging indicators? Can someone return? We'll discussed many times, several times. Leading indicators and lagging indicators
is related to performance measurement. Leading indicators is like towards the growth or long term. It is
lagging indicators.
Lagging is the negative performance, right?
No. Lagging indicators are historical measurement. Something has happened already. It can be negative or positive also. For example, your sales report, your customer experience report, profitability, cash flow, all that, whatever has happened in this financial year, that you are reporting. Historical data, historical measurements that look back to determine if the success was achieved or not. Okay, and you are looking at your financial statements and seeing where the gaps are, whether you are on track, all that, it's been reported. Okay, financial measures are lagging indicators. Okay, clear? Okay. Please remember this, very important, because when you are setting up this KPI and balanced scorecard, you need to be sure about this leading indicators and lagging indicators. Okay.
Leading means then future assessment of leading.
Yeah. Leading indicators are have predictive power of success. Which you can work on. They are measured today. You can work on this leading indicator to determine if the goals will meet tomorrow. Will be met tomorrow. So you can work on it. For example, you have a customer in the banks. We have customer interfacing staff like tellers, head teller, customer service executives. All are interfacing with the customers. So if I give effective customer service skills, how to handle the customer complaints, or the bulletproof way of being well informed about the policies and protocols, or frequently asked questions, all that, if they have in the fingertips, they can handle effectively, and that will bring forth more return for the banks, more revenue. The customers will be satisfied, get delighted, and your customer satisfaction index also goes very high. So that way you bring more revenue. Right? That is a leading indicator you can work on. So they are measured today to determine if the goals will be met tomorrow. And they are measured early and often enough to allow for changes that can impact the predicted outcomes. This is a very good way we can work on it in the company wherever you are working. Okay. Now what I'll do, I'll just refer to which one I prepared. For example, first and foremost, how we are going with the balanced scorecard, right? This is one I prepared for the Toyota Lexus Alshire Group. Here, the preface itself, I have written one statement. Here I'm saying we have a KPI. When we are talking about the KPIs, the KPIs involving work identity. What do you mean by KPIs? It has to be smarter, specific, measurable, attainable, evaluated and repeated. Okay, so metrics measure type with the weightage. You are assigning some weightage, right, in the KPIs with the drill down activities. So in order to facilitate the KPI, the best practices, what you can make sure it can succeed is the 9 points. I just put it as a free pace, and then I signed it off. Here you see it. This is a prelude for the balanced scorecard. 5 years strategic planning. When I prepared, I did a lot of research, and then I came out with the 9 important essence to roll out the success, important key success factors. We first and foremost, we need to ensure executive sponsorship and commitment. The balanced scorecard, it's not a one-time event. It's a journey. So that you have to keep in mind first and foremost. For that, you need to have a top executive support and commitment. Second, develop a measures to support each strategy for each perspective at each level. Each strategy at each perspective, you need to develop a measures around that perspective. What you mentioned, for example, asset under AUMA, asset under management. For example, you have to work around how you can effectively, make a metrics in order to improve and track quarter by quarter. So seek balance among the measures and you need to ensure linkage to processes and the procedures. You need to have some linkage also, the processes and procedures around the AUM, and then develop a solid baseline data. That means where you are standing now in terms of AUM and where you want to achieve, and you can try to bridge the gap. Okay, then develop a measure of the past, present and the future that we discussed just now, the leading indicator and the lagging indicator. What are the leading indicators? Leading indicators are which you can work on to bring forth
historical
success.
data.
Leading into
Lagging is historical.
Lagging is historical. So lagging.
It will be
Leading is what you'll work on today, and just the results will be shown later, right?
Later, absolutely.
But,
so lagging is.
So what is financial comes in what now? Lagging or leading?
Lagging. Financial report or sales report, any data related to this.
Lagging now.
Lagging. Okay. So you need to develop a measures of the past, present and future, lagging, near time and the leading indicators. And you need to remember, don't over rely on the input output process measures in the processes. Most of the time the managers get stuck by the process centric. That also another problem comes when you are rolling out this KPIs and all. Don't go by the books. There are many other constraints you have, that you need to look at. So don't over rely on the input or output process measures in the processes. For example, when you are in the midst of the forest, you can able to see only the trees. Each species I can see the trees, different kinds of trees. But I cannot comprehend the forest. Look at the forest, I need to elevate myself, to see how the forest looks. Eagle view I need to have. So for that, you need to see, while doing this exercise, you need to be able to see connect the dots. How it's all the interlinkages of the procedures, processes, and how it's been linked to the vision, mission, values, objectives, targets, KPI targets, initiatives, all the linkage you are able to comprehend. Then only you will work around this initiatives very well. Otherwise, you get stuck as a activity oriented or process centric, which will be like a hindrance or it will be a handicap for you. So limit the number of measures. Okay, not you should not have wishful thinking of having too many measures. It is not recommended. Have a limited number of measures is advisable, and you need to always have a stretch target at each level. Always, people enjoy being stretch assignments. You can always raise the bar. Now you have the AUM asset, under management, the baseline. You have to determine where you are standing, Marcus, and where you would like to move to the next level, and try to improve, benchmark with the work around the gap, and to have milestones to achieve, systematically, and define the roles and responsibility, and hold responsible for their performance. Everyone keep them accountable for their initiatives. There should not be any ambiguity. Roles and responsibilities should be very clear. And for example, this is how that looks like. The balanced scorecard. The green, as Saiju said, red, yellow, green. You see, each measure initiative you can come out with. The spreadsheet itself you can prepare. Each one will have a measure definition. Here you see the measure definition, the formula, and then you will see here the trend. What is a past few years, what was the trend, and what's the current scenario, and where you are heading to. The predictive analytics you can make. This is how it looks like. And then here in the table you are seeing, the actual and the budget, over the next 5 years. I can predict clear, very clearly. This was in initial time, we launched across the company. Okay, and you can automate it. Not necessarily you have to work like an Excel spreadsheet. Not required. Nowadays there are software available, you can work around, and I will tell you specifically how to have the KPIs. See this, how the KPI looks like. Okay, the KPIs look like this. Every department will have their own respective KPIs, and then it will be cascaded to different the sub units, or you may have group, division, department, and then respective units, and then it will be split among the members, top executives. For example, here one example, KPI to be 93%. We need to have in HR. How we can achieve the 93%? Align the HRD with the organization goals. That will have weightage of 96%. You need to achieve the alignment with your HR initiative strategies with the organization strategy. That's number one. Number two, we have adequately resourced. You should be under what you call your manpower. It should be adequately resourced, because you cannot stretch people too much. You need to have a required number of people to carry out the task. That's very important. For example, you have budgeted for a certain number of positions. You need to have an adequate number of people in respective departments. Some of the vacancies may not be filled, or you may be budgeted or not filled, and replacements are not done. These are all burden for people. It may drag you down. That's why. Then achieve above the 80% of the CSI, customer satisfaction index. Customer satisfaction index, you can also come out with, for example, in a support department can be rated by the line management. For example, your equity, Marcus, your operations, and other line management, the business activities, those departments can rate your services. So you have to prepare a questionnaire that what are the services you are offering from the HR. So you have to send out, and they will rate you. That will get into this, your metrics, internal customer satisfaction index. Your internal customers are rating you. Okay, and very serious business. And then achieve your employee satisfaction engagement score has to be 75% and above. You can raise the bar. It was only 75 that time. You can raise the bar gradually. Then community needs, like taking initiatives, corporate CSR initiative. Like Alsai recently engaged all the engineers, the young students. A lot of innovative programs they launched. And coetation, bring a required number of coetes and develop the nationals. This can be one of the community needs. And health, safety, HSC requirements, all that you need to comply. And then to implement the internal audit recommendation. For example, you have internal audit, you have some serious issues like having a succession planning, or some gaps in the what else you have, might be having had gaps in delayed payment, delayed processes. So those issues you need to work around and to fulfill. So all this will have, for example, you can assign weightage 16.6%, 16.6. So all this will, cumulatively, making achieving the target of reaching 93%. So you can actually further cascade, drill down to, for example, how you align you may ask, it's a very vague, how I am going to align my HR initiatives with the organization's strategy. So that will be further cascaded. For example, how you achieve that budget versus actual. You have budgeted, every year, financial year, how you are able to achieve that budget. That you can track. Availability of HRD proactive services. Okay, the leading initiative, leading indicators like your initiatives. Have you launched, or you have done some engagement study? From that you came out with real needs, expressed by the employees. Have you prioritized and have you addressed those issues? Whether your HR strategies are derived from the need basis or your wishful thinking, that you need to address. Okay, then completion of HRD plans. That's also very important. Your plans, whether you are able to fulfill, and to move the balanced scorecard to the next level. Okay, on the top level you are launched now. For example, Saiju said recently they launched KPIs for the top executives. Whether you are able to cascade to next level, manager, middle level, and supervisory level, officer level, have that also very important. And timekeeping measurement systems, if you don't have, then hay grading for the inclusion for the budget. So all this are, in a combined way, it is aligned to achieve that objective of being aligned with the corporate strategy. That's how it's built. It's not coming, on your wishful thinking or, something off the self you are borrowing and then putting. It's all reality. It's whatever happening, it's been done in the trend past, what's happening and what you're able to predict for the next 5 years. This is how you proceed with this, a very serious business. Then to be adequately resourced. How you do that resource management? Employee turnover. Attrition rate has to be less, less than 8% ideally. And ideally, I cannot say, you have to see your peer industry for other investment companies like Camco, NIC, there are many other players are there, Safwan and others, what is a turnover they have. So by an industry average, that will be an ideal benchmark for you. I cannot say, Marcus having 12% is very high turnover, we cannot say that, what is the industry trend. So you need to be having a employee turnover less than your industry standard. Then training efficiency, course contact and utilization, that percentage. Then that also, further cascaded to achieve your soft skills, return on investment. Yesterday we saw one question, utility analysis. Remember? So that also has to be coming here for achieving the soft skills, then efficiency, all that. Then achieving the IT skills. For example, your ERP implementation, leveraging your technology, effectiveness and efficiency, all that, you need to. Then e-learning, learning management systems, return on investment, effectiveness and efficiency. Okay, then further we are moving towards community needs. Quotization ratio has to be proper, and HSS standard. Okay, this is, you got it, this is how the drivers are. Customer attainment of customer delight. Okay, 100% target level. Principles to achieve 30% market share by so-and-so year. For example, now Saiju said you should have certain percentage, for example 20% of achieving AUM in the coming years. Okay, you can determine specifically, you can spell out 2024, 2025, what will be your AUM. Okay, asset under management. Then finance, increase the revenue and turnover, double the size of business in 5 years by next 5 years next 5 years down the line, you want to be double the size. Okay, and finance, control of cost and expenses through productivity improvements, maintain within the approved budget levels. Always go by the budget. Okay, and community needs, attain and maintain the required quotization percentages. Okay, employees to ensure that the ESI, employee engagement values for motivation and leadership, attain and reach 85%, okay, by so and so year. So you can have this kind of, these are all drivers, leading, indicators which you can drive you. Then, for example, so this is a corporate level. Now I'm giving a very concrete, specific example of how we can have a linkage of, having this is as a corporate objective. In alignment with the corporate objective, we can have HRD, our functional strategies, go hand in hand. We cannot have our own standalone HR strategy, but we'll draw insights and develop our own HR strategy in relation to the corporate objective. What are those corporate HR functional strategies? Our functional strategies, whatever I spelled out earlier, it is all corporate strategy. Okay. Then our functional HR strategies will be attract and retain the key performance, the key critical resources, staff always readily available in the talent pipeline, talent acquisition. Okay. Then develop management and supervisory staff competency and capacity. During my time, we spent about nearly 70,000, I think, 70K Kuwaiti dinar to roll out this competency framework across the organization. We engaged one consultant to do that. It's very important, major assignments. Develop an incentive and compensation structures that reward employees in all levels of the organization. For example, Toyota is like a honey. No need for you to take any initiative. It's like honey. Bees will come, attract, because of the quality, the brand name. Customers are like just flocking in, So salesman salary will be around 250-300 KD, but their incentives are 2,000 KD, 3,000 KD they may get. Okay, incentive, individual incentive, group incentive, company-wide incentives, all that will drive these people, to be a number one. So incentive, compensation structures that reward the employees in all levels of the organization. Develop a functional competencies in sales skills, customer relation competencies, very important. Establish and develop the Alzheimer organization and culture. How the initiatives, what you build the culture. These are all our performance drivers for HR. Then the enablers, what you're talking about, developing a recruitment practices that based on sales and job competencies, optimizing the staffing levels. You have every department equity. You should not suffer lack of manpower, or you say research and development. Every budgeted number has to be fulfilled, by your recruitment, initiative. So maintain the staff stability with a low turnover, reducing the recruitment lead times to optimum level. Your cycle time of bringing people on board has to be shortened. Establishing a leadership and management profiles to match the strategic intent. What type of competencies must a manager require to function in your markas? You need to define what sort of competencies you need to have for each respective roles. That you need to have a clear framework. Then realigning the incentives, commission structures that are heavily focused to sales staff. Support staffs are considered as an overhead and need participating in profit earning schemes. That's unfortunate. What happened, only the people who are in the business, they get incentivized, But how about HR, finance? We also doing, slogging out. We are also getting a good offer from banks. Automotive, being automotive doesn't stop me to join banks and other investment companies, right? So that one of the area they need to work on, So they have to focus. The incentives are heavily focused on. This I raised, this point actually. And how about the support staffs are considered as an overhead and need participating in the profit earning system schemes, okay? And you have to put here, this is an opportunity for you to put your heart and soul, whatever you wanted the management to do, you put it in writing, so get it, get their blessing and go ahead and implement. This is very good way of doing it. And development of training programs to support the sales and customer relations operations. Okay, develop organization manpower requirements for the future and establish the future Alzheimer culture. So then, whatever I spoke about, each initiative, I will have my action plan. Okay, so whatever you are saying, for example, AUM, asset under management, how you are going to achieve, you need to have a proper the description, the objective, and the action plan. Can I read out something for you? Example, is it interesting, or I am relating with a specific example? For example, attract and retain the key management staff. You are, is a statement everyone can have. It's a wishful statement. But how we are going to achieve? To ensure that adequate manpower is available for each department as defined in their annual manpower plans according to the requirements, the numbers what they spelled out in the budget, types of staff, when they need, all that is in the manpower requisition or in your budget, manpower budget. To ensure that the right person is selected for the position by ensuring that the recruitment process is conducted properly using the competency approach. Okay, then how do you do this initiative by action plan? Define the recruitment plans for department manpower request, develop a recruitment process based on competency selection, review and update on a regular basis, monthly basis. You need to update the organizational chart, updated job descriptions, set levels for quality nationals to meet the percentage required by GMRP, government restructuring manpower planning program, and develop a target lead times for recruitment to be measured. Prepare a monthly progress reports. Then how do you achieve the training? So training needs: develop a staff and management assessment center using a psychometric test, develop an approach to assess employee competencies to assess strengths and weaknesses. It was not there, that's why I made it very bold, see here. So our initiative was not there. Develop a staff and management assessment center using psychometric test. Then I suggested a DISC Thomas profiling as an initiative. So this way we can do, and then you can have also some example for example, strategy map. For example, now we are going to discuss the strategy map. Here the strategy map for achieving the enterprise strategy map, financial service portfolio, strategic HR service portfolio. Both go hand in hand, business and the service side. So how the interlinkages are there, you can put it as a map. For example, when you are waging a war, against another country or, some whatever, you will first discuss with, your army personnel, the general, how you are going to go ahead and what will be your strategy, the mission critical area, all that you will be discussing, like what they are doing. Likewise, in your organization, you also do the proper planning, strategizing your initiative, how you are going to approach, throughout the year. That's what the Balanced Scorecard is all about. It's helping you to have a strategy map to achieve your intended target. Control and compliance to performance and accountability. Most of the time, many of the organization, especially here, they are rule governments. Rules are very important. Control. We need to moving towards vision and mission driven. That mindset, we need to have a transformation has to happen. Then limited flexibility to internal and external customer driven. We should not talk about internal bottlenecks or politics or limited by our own limited resources, but we need to be driven by the external customers. That is very important. Internal and external customer driven. Then non-preventive approach to employee responsive approach. Negative focus to preventive focus. Control of teams and individuals to being more proactive. And individuals oriented to positive focus. Most of the time we are reactive, firefighting. We need to move towards team-based approach. Restricted to more of strategic approach, not being constrained by the restrictive, and non-motivational to being more motivational. So this require a significant culture change and effective commitment. This is also very important. This is a very deeply embedded, which is under the water. You will see only the tip of the iceberg, the measures, metric, strategy, all that we are talking about. But these are all area submerged under the water. You may not see. This we need to work around to have that shift. So it's a big exercise. We need to have top management commitment and support. Its scope of this work will be 6 months to 1 year. To implement this kind of initiative. and it's not easy. You need to get the buy-in from all the stakeholders, involve everyone at every level, and let them own the process and keep them held accountable for everything, So let's question the measurement percentage of employees following a supervisor approved competency model would most likely to be placed in which perspective of the balanced scorecard? In time.
Internal processes?
No.
Learning and growth?
Yes, learning and growth, you nailed it. Very good. Learning and growth. That is a foundation, very important. So the measurement percentage of employees following a supervisor approved competency model, it is an initiative, competency, what we talked about from this, the example also I mentioned. These are all related to learning and development, learning and growth. So this measurement relates to helping grow the workforce, and this would most likely fit with the learning and growth perspective of the balanced scorecard. So you need to be able to relate with the initiatives with the which perspective you are doing. That also very important. See, you need to have financial perspective and non-financial perspective. So satisfaction, internal customer satisfaction level. You may have a target of achieving 80% above, cohesion, non-financial, turnover ratio, achieving manpower plan, implement a training plan, process payroll on 25th of every month. These are all not quantifiable but non-financial measures which helps the people to be more satisfied, engaged. If you do take care of this initiatives, very important work you need to have. Every KPI you need to have, for example, objective, and what are the strategies, then what's the action plan, then the target date and the status. You need to have this, so that the CEO, top CEO, we can easily track, where they are standing. In terms of, for example, manpower plan, attracting a qualified employees through local recruits, GCC recruits, and other recruitment search. My action plan will be advertising, interviews, all that. Target date during the year and by the year end, I will achieve. And what is the status? In progress. Then training plan, developing the soft skills and competencies, training courses, internal and external coaching during the year and by the year end, ongoing. Remuneration, ensuring employees are compensated at competitive market rates. Then I'll do the remuneration study, market survey. So by August and September, in progress. Employee satisfaction. Just tell me which one I have to go in depth. I will talk. Employee satisfaction, performance management, career development. For career development, we need to provide employee progression and promotion opportunities, career paths, and development programs. Documentation. All these are can be objective. HRD policies, job evaluation, job descriptions, succession planning, assessment center. Assessment center, what I'm saying, the strategy will be to assess the aptitude and behavioral compatibility of existing and prospective staff. What will be my action plan? Buy units from the so this is I'm putting my agenda that because I was working earlier as a business consultant for Thomas, so I initiated this. Buy units from that time. It was in a dongle. We have to buy units from UK. We have to load the dongle. It will be compatible with the printer, the printer port. Then you can use to generate reports. Each PPA, personal profile analysis, consumes 16 units. So we need to buy that. So buy units from Thomas International depending on the need. Buying from India would be cost effective. So I suggested from India I can also get it. Then so and so date to complete. Okay. Then disciplinary action codes, HRD workflows and work procedures, admin policies, admin procedures, all this, Then we can have overall competency strategy map, For example, you have customer, you have the, for example, you have the, I'll relate with the slides only. Okay? You have the, you may wonder what is this perspective, customer perspective, financial perspective, internal business process perspective, learning and growth perspective, We need to have balanced approach. So how do you do, for example, we'll take one example of the customer perspective. Customer perspective, for example, the achieve and maintain 100% of the customer satisfaction index, measure. So what are the values you have? Customer values like cost value, cost per value, availability of the units, reliability, accessibility, attractiveness. These are all matters for the customer's perspective. Customer value proposition, customers look for availability, reliability, accessibility, and also attractiveness. For example, nowadays hybrid and more advanced, electric cars are coming in. Do you have the availability? That also we need to look at. Then existing development of customer loyalty. Okay, and how do you achieve the growth revenue target in terms of customers? This perspective. What we have existing development of customer loyalty program already we have. Then we need to have develop a revenue by each business. That already now they are doing it now. Each unit they are making it as a profit center. Then explore the opportunity outside Kuwait. That time I put it in this my plan, and they reached Iraq. Iraq they have launched TriStar. It's a big setup there. Baghdad and other places, they are getting these units from Kuwait to Iraq and selling it. They reached in a very big way. So explore the opportunities outside Kuwait. They did this. Then maximum profits. Develop customer staff help facilities, okay, and control the cost of products, prices of the customers. Continue development of online facilities through websites and e-synergy and other stuff, online presence. Nowadays they are very active in all the social media. Then principles can be maintain a product availability, attainment of market share, development of brand image, all that. Then internal processes, for example, the internal processes, you may ask how you are going to achieve that process. Aggressive marketing campaign and program, maintain a superior sales capacity, good retention policies, development of key sales plans and effective sales administration, establishment and maintenance of quality standards, ISO. So I highlighted some of them are green boxes that are the new, it was not there, new initiatives, ISO. It was not there, so we wanted to implement ISO, quality standards, improvement in employee productivity, cost control management, cost of the sales for the employee, then streamline the manual process to online employee portal. We introduce exact software e-synergy where everything is system based. The process approval, you go walk into any outside group, everything happens through online only, online portal. We launched e-synergy and we gave a training of super user level for all the end users. Then community, attainment of cohesion, development of public relations program, establishment of HSC standards and environmental targets. Now there's a separate department also, customer service and complaints, and also they have now environmental sustainability, ESG, environmental sustainability and governance. There is a separate division that are looking at all that green initiatives, okay, employees and measures. Okay, then we have our strategy map. Then we can have a leading and the lagging indicators, then employee perspective, principles. It will be all cascaded to separate action plan. A balanced scorecard is created by Dr. Robert and Dr. David Norton. The both of them, they are working in a paradigm group, a framework that identifies and measures the outcomes, the behaviors, competencies, and the mindset and the culture required for the workforce success, and reveals how each dimensions impact the bottom line, so ultimately we need to bring an alignment, achieve the top strategy at the bottom level, right? So the key point, the perspective, the success point is an emphasis on looking at the role of human capital from the outside in approach. Always, we look at from inside out approach, right? We are like a frog in the well. When the frog in the well only look at from its own environment, they're not able to perceive what's going on outside. So, but being an HR professional, this is helping us to have outside in approach. What is the stakeholders' expectation, customer expectation? From that perspective, we'll start working around, So, not from the inside out, starting with the HR function. So you got to keep in mind, while doing this program, the whole program is being structured, being a strategic SPHR for senior leaders. We need to have kind of outside in approach. So many of the questions you may, get stuck by answering what we do in HR, right? You already answered like that, but we need to go beyond by looking at what will be the pros and cons, how the business leaders think from outside in approach. Okay, that's what the scope of this curriculum. So the HR scorecard argues that the HR measurement systems must be based on clear understanding of the organization's strategy. Now I just read out how the linkage happened. Alsair had a strategy and HR had a strategy in alignment with that. We need to prepare, and the capabilities and the behaviors of the workforce, what is required to implement the strategy, that has to be spelled out. Thus, the HR scorecard, the HR scorecard, here the bottom line, HR scorecard is a mechanism for describing and measuring how people and people management systems create a value in the organizations, as well as communicating the key organizational objectives to the workforce. We need to not only keep it within us, but it has to be communicated to all levels. So that was very important. Okay, the HR scorecard is built around series of examples and the processes that help managers to do the work in their own firms. We need to educate the line managers. My job was to actually provide the metrics for the line managers every month, on a monthly basis. We need to feed them the required numbers from HR. We need to provide them all the metrics so that they will build these numbers will get into their scorecards. Okay, designing an HR architecture that relentlessly emphasizes and reinforces the implementation of the firm's strategy in the bottom line. This would be used under the balanced scorecard approach to measure the customer perspective.
Revenue growth, market share.
Market share, brilliant.
Yes.
Market share. Earlier it was learning and growth. Here now is a market share. So the customer perspective is looking at how the customers are reacting. Market share would be used in measuring customer perspective. Even that AUM will be measured by who will measure? Customer, right? Asset under.
Based on the profit which we are making, whatever money we are receiving on based on the profit.
Yeah, correct.
We can come to increase the certain management.
Yeah, but ultimately the customers are given their money to be managed, right? So they expect a good return, right? So ultimately, that's the bottom line, right?
They will measure, like for example, which company is making good profit or stable, they are stable in the market, then they will invest more.
Yeah. So that way, what I'm saying, here also this question we can connect with Marcus. The customer, how they perceive. You're making you have a track record of making a good return for the AUM. Then only they will invest. Otherwise, because there are other competitors may give a better deal. So And not only that, they'll not blindly go by the deal, but also reputation, stability, sustainability, and many other issues they look at, all this matters, for customer perspective. So, a customer perspective, that to keep in mind. Okay, then. Now we'll look at the strategy map. As the Balanced Scorecard provides that the discipline for the successful organization. This is, for example, we have CEOs, right? Every organization, big CEOs are there. When something goes wrong, we blame the CEO. It's his plan. We tend to blame, but that should not be the case. The Balanced Scorecard is providing that discipline for successful organization. Is a tool to implement the strategy. Most of the time the strategy fail because of lack of execution. That's 80% of the strategy fail. Okay, so the process helps the executive teams to better understand and articulate your strategies. The Balanced Scorecard is helping you. The foundation of the design is the how we can communicate to the higher level through the strategy map. As shown in this figure, what you're seeing here, personal growth, okay, then this leads to product and services, then delight the customer, volume growth, and at the end, by default, you are able to achieve revenue growth. So you see here, this is a kind of, I could say, this layer, foundation, like I would say leading factors. And here you see the lagging factors. So learning and growth perspective, internal business process perspective, this are the area, customer perspective, this one, then financial perspective. You see the linkage, how it's been achieved. You can make it like a strategy map for every initiative you are doing, and visually appealing. And you can also visually see where the breakage are. Somewhere some link is missing. That easily we can figure out. So we have looked at before the strategy Balanced Scorecard. Now we are looking at the strategy map. Okay, the strategy map provides specificity, what is needed to translate the general statements, what you mentioned, AUM to certain percentage to achieve by 2025, 2024, right? The strategy map provides the specificity needed to translate your general statements about high level direction and strategy into a specific objectives that are more meaningful for all the employees. And when you communicate like this, everyone can get you will get the buy-in from people and they can act on it. The strategy map is a visual framework that give you the cause and effect relationship among the components of organization's strategy. And it is used to integrate the 4 perspectives, as you see here: learning and growth, internal processes perspective, customer perspective, and financial perspective. It is helping you to integrate the 4 perspective. Imagine that the war is going on. You are a general taking your troops into a foreign territory. Obviously, you would need detailed maps showing the important towns, villages, airports, where the critical spots are, and the roads and the highways that traverse the region. Okay, so without such information, you could not communicate your campaign strategy to your field officers and the rest of the troops. Clear? No, this is how they do at a higher level. They strategize. Unfortunately, many this analogy, it's what's going on in the war situation. They do this, but unfortunately, many top executives are trying to do just that. Now we need to just do that kind of practice, right? When attempting to implement your business strategy, they give employees only limited descriptions of what they should do and why those tasks are important. When you are comparing with the, in the war situation, you are looking at all, scanning through and communicating, right? But when you come to an organization, you are not communicating well enough, good enough. Limited descriptions about what they should do and why those tasks are important, that are not clearly briefed for the communicated. Without clearer and more detailed information, it is no wonder that many companies have failed in executing the strategies. Okay, after all, how can people carry out a plan that they don't fully understand? It's a big question mark, right? Organizations need tools for communicating both their strategy. You can make a strategy map and put it in a visible way. Everyone can see how it's been linkages are happening. That way you will get the buy-in. And organizations need tools to communicate both their strategy and the processes and the systems that will help them to implement the strategy. This is very important. So strategy maps, here what you are seeing, it's providing such a tool. They give the employees a clear line of sight into how their jobs are linked to an overall objective of the organization. They can be able to relate. Even for example, I can give you an example. US president way back in the 70s, he walked into a NASA, airbase research station, NASA, and he walked in the WC, and then he saw a janitor mopping the floor. Hi, buddy. Howdy. What are you up to? Sir, I am helping the engineers to land on the moon. This is a response from the janitor. This president got zapped by what he was telling. Oh my God, what this guy talking about? This janitor responded. He just asked casually, what are you up to? He's saying, sir, I am helping the engineers to land on the moon. So that kind of, purpose, the kind of end in mind, this janitor, even though he's paid lowly and very menial job of what he's doing, but he had that kind of perception. Can you imagine? This happened really instant, So this is very important. Everyone in an organization to get that buy-in, So could you just imagine how he will put his heart and soul and, he's doing his work, So he's had kind of a purpose state in his mind, he visualized that. So strategy maps can depict the objectives for revenue growth, targeted market, customer markets in which profitable growth will occur, for sure. Value proposition that will lead to customers doing more businesses at higher margins. Always they are able to achieve more. You can stretch the bar, raise the bar, stretch them. So the key role of innovation and excellence in products, services and processes, and the investments required for the people and the systems to generate and can sustain the projected growth, all that is possible. The strategy maps show the cause and effect links by which specific improvements create desired outcomes and all that. For example, how faster the process cycle times and enhanced employee capabilities, cycle time, the kind of, for example, recruitment cycle time, or you are processing some payroll, SIG processing payroll, the process cycle times matters a lot. You cannot delay. So that will enhance the employee capabilities, and thus it will increase employee retention of customers and thus increase their company revenue. See, it has a rippling effect. When you put a stone in the pond, what will happen? It will have a ripple effect. Like that it happens. Everyone's contribution. From a larger perspective, strategy maps show how an organization will convert its initiatives and resources, including intangible assets such as corporate culture, which is nice, and they need to have product on specifications, on-time delivery, which is not happening there. What will happen if they don't have products on specifications, on-time delivery? That will affect the win-win dealer relationship. Dealer relationship will get affected, and that will be result in low net margin. Let us look at here. Here, for example, here there's a breakage. Win-win dealer relations. For example, you have the Ola, KNPC, they have the oil refineries, they have outlets, right? And this distributors win-win dealer relationship they need to have. Otherwise, for example, Yokohama tires, Alsair, paints, we have many parts and services going on. No, they need to have good dealers relationship. Otherwise, it will also affect the net margin. And so you understand, this is helping you to see where the breakages are. I move too fast, pretty. Let us also keep the time. Okay, here is a slide. You can see the full screen. Hello. Here I just distinguished the strategy map and the balanced scorecard. It is nothing but balanced scorecard is more of detailed metrics, all that trends what you are preparing, and strategy map is visually representative. To achieve an organization's goals, what type of measurement is needed? So now we talked about AUM and net margin, profit share, customer satisfaction, quality, all that. In order to achieve the big goals, what type of measurement is needed?
Key performance indicators.
MashaAllah. KPIs? No. Measurement, so that's okay, but management objectives. Management objectives. Yeah. The Peter Drucker, who propagated this, is a management guru. Peter Drucker is a management by objectives, MBO. Peter Drucker. Here we are talking about we're going off the track. Management objective can help to increase organizational performance by aligning the subordinate objectives throughout the organization with the overall organization's goals that management has set. Key performance indicators, KPIs, vary between companies and functions depending on their priorities or performance criteria. A company must establish its management goals and then choose the KPIs which best reflects those goals. Inshallah. Yeah, we'll do.
We sent the flashcard. Very good.
Yeah, but flashcards, thank you very much, Francis. Very helpful. Very nice. Very useful, yes. But in you.